Hello, my name is Xavier Mercado, and this is Spearhead Conversations. Today, I'm joined by a special guest, Shane Mosley Jr., professional boxer, title holder, 2 belts at that. He's a fierce phenom in his profession, and I had the privilege of crossing paths with him. So today, here we are. Without further ado, how you doing, Shane?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This is great. I appreciate you setting up in my house.
Yeah.
We actually use this space, so it's 100% awesome. And thank you for having me on.
Hey man, I appreciate it, man. I've been watching the reels on the Instagram page, man. You got a fierce right, fierce left, man. Yeah, man, I'm definitely a fan. How have you been as of lately?
I'm doing great, man. Just continuing my journey of becoming a world champion, becoming a legendary fighter, and also, being a family man, being a dad, a husband. I got another one on the way. So
yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. So a lot of good things coming, and just staying consistent, staying ready, so that when things come my way, I can take advantage of it.
All right, yeah, man. Well, you just received great news, man. The career is in full effect right now.
Yeah, just yesterday, I got the call for Daniel Jacobs, which is a huge fight for me, a huge opportunity, and I'm super excited for the opportunity as well as the event. The event is going to be on the undercard of Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. So
wow,
big stuff.
That's big, man.
Yeah,
all eyes on you. I know right. I'll be ordering the fight, man. Thank you. Man, all right. Well, we always do this little talk, but you ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
So where were you born?
I was born in Pomona, California. My dad was also from Pomona, California. Mm-hmm. Both my parents, actually. So, born and raised Pomona, California.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Sheesh. How was your childhood?
I would say that it was pretty great. I got to experience a lot of different, things, especially my dad being a world champion and a fighter and stuff like that, as well as, getting to travel and also seeing, different sides of life as far as like, different lifestyles. So yeah, it was, I think I'm blessed.
Yeah. What hobbies were you into?
You said hobbies?
Hobbies, yeah.
I would say that, okay, so you're saying growing up or like
growing up? Yeah.
Growing up, definitely like just kicking it with my cousins, sports and whatnot, music, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you did mention you are son of Shane, Sugar Shane Mosley.
Yes, I am.
What was that like growing up and, your dad in the spotlight?
I would say that it was pretty cool. I would definitely say that at the time I didn't realize how privileged I was. But obviously looking back and being able to see like, a lot of people didn't, live like that and get to have these experiences and meet these different people and go to these types of events. So, now looking back, I go, wow, I was very, very fortunate and blessed. But like now, at the time I was just like, oh, this is just normal life.
Yeah. Well, boxing has been around you your whole life. At what age did it spark interest as far as you taking that step towards?
Yeah, I would say that that was at 15 years old.
15?
Yeah.
Why not earlier?
Well, like kind of like being around boxing, going to these events, fights, stuff like that. It was just like for my dad. So it was like, what my dad did and my family did to support my dad and stuff like that. So it wasn't like that was a passion for me. It was like a passion for my dad. And so like, you could be happy for somebody and watch them do it and support them and not want to do it yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with that being said, like, I got to see all of that, and my dad never pushed boxing on me. So, which I'm actually very thankful for, that he didn't push me into it and, make me want to do it and things like that. It wasn't until like a buddy of mine was just like, hey, you want to come down to the gym he's a big boxing fan, also, fought himself in the amateurs and stuff. So he had just asked me like, hey, do you want to come down and, spar? And sure enough, I went and sparred and was able to, get some rounds in with him and had a bloody nose and all that stuff. And sure enough, I was just like, hey, like, when can we do this again?
Yeah.
Like, when can I come down?
What was the emotion in the moment? Adrenaline just
it was just great. Like, being able to feel all of those things, being able to, get hurt and be able to realize that, I want to do this again. I want to get better. I want to overcome this feeling of, getting beat up and getting punched and stuff like that. And you kind of, adversity shows or introduces the man to himself.
Okay.
So with that adversity, with that, pain and, struggle, I was able to see like, man, I really love this.
Yeah.
And I really want to continue to do this.
Well, starting off at 15 now, what are the type of barriers that you faced jumping in at that age?
Well, at that time, so you gotta think, a lot of people who, turn pro, or like a lot of boxers just in general, they start around 8 years old. So 8, 9, like 10 is kind of like even considered like somewhat late. I think by the time they become 15, let's just say they started at 8, they're almost half of the time that they've been alive, they've been boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like half of their life, they know boxing. So with that being said, they have way more life and boxing experience than like I would have just at start.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm kind of blessed at is having my dad being who he was and being around boxing and being around the type of mentality that he had and that thing. So where I lacked in, life experience as far as boxing is concerned, I was able to obtain through visually seeing the work ethic, visually seeing the lifestyle, visually seeing the mentality, and being able to take that into myself, right? And learning firsthand from that type of lifestyle. Even though that championship mentality is cultivated, I feel like you can also, kind of get it by seeing it and being around it, and living kind of with it. And that's where I was blessed at. So where I kind of lacked in work experience.
So barriers were just, you were able to get through those barriers.
I was able to get through that otherwise. So with that being said, that's one of the benefits that I had.
Right. You have your dad, who would you consider him a mentor?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Who else have been mentors or influences that have guided you through?
The list goes on, and not even through just boxing, but just in general. Because of my philosophy of boxing, I believe that you take everything that you are as a person and as a man into the ring when you fight. So the better you are as a man, the better you are as a fighter. And if you believe that everything is interchangeable and everything works together, then that is true, right? Yeah. So with that being said, my mentors and people, I mean, there's a ridiculously long list, but I would say that guys like Xavier Richardson, coached by the name of Eric Brown, my grandfather. There's so many, man.
Yeah,
so
man,
many,
I can see that.
So many. And then, just people that have just been in my life and been great men and great mentors, and even women. My mom. When I say my mom, I mean my stepmom who raised me. My mom as well, like my birth mom as well. She was a big part of support and stuff like that. So just a lot of different people, man.
Yeah, just people influences. Well, boxing is physicality. It's body. You know what I mean? You're draining the body. You're building the body. How do you maintain the fitness and the diets in between fights?
Well, so that's one of the things that I talk about as far as being like kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I was blessed to have, being around my dad, is that he like is boxing.
He is boxing, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And like, so I mean that to say that like everything that he does, eating, training, like it's who he is. It's not what he does.
How about you in specific though?
I would say that I'm very similar. I'm training basically every day, all of the time. Even when I don't have a fight, I eat accordingly. I would say that I live boxing.
Yeah. Do you remember your first fight?
I do.
How did it go? What were the emotions in that moment?
Obviously, I was scared. A lot of people were expecting me to be a lot better than I feel like I was at the time. A lot of people booing me. They didn't think that I won. So funny. Even my mom was like, "You lost."
Oh, dang.
She kept it real with me, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy experience. I learned a lot and was able to be in that whole experience and learning what it was like for a lot of people to watch you do something that you like and enjoy, and I got that experience and it just kept on moving me forward.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Those first instances of where you step out of your body and you step into a realm you don't necessarily know or at that point understand. So it's just like, it's yeah, man.
Yeah. And I think, even like to say like my mom, for instance, like telling me that I lost, like that only made me want to do it more.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Like it was just like, okay, yeah, I'll show you that I'm going to be better and I'm going to do better. And
Definitely.
And so like, some people will probably say, oh, your mom's being mean or whatever the case is. And it's like, nah, she's being real with me. And that only
transparent,
helps.
man. Transparency goes far.
That only helps me because, I could take that and be like, oh, yeah. Or I can just be like, like I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I might have, sucked.
I remember the beginning for me. I mean, someone called it a little podcast, and you know what I mean. I took that to heart, and now look where I'm at.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Like I think criticism and failure and all of these things, mistakes, it only helps you if you use it, right? Like if you don't use it, if you choose not to use it as something that's going to help build you up, it's going to break you down. And why do that? Especially if you want to do it, you let it help you build you up.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's your most memorable fight?
When I fought Gabriel Rosado.
What was that like?
Well, it was for one, nerve-wracking. I 100% felt like he could knock me out. He could hurt me pretty bad. He can embarrass me in front of everybody. I used that to my advantage. I use all those emotions and all those feelings of being nervous and scared and potentially getting knocked out in front of my wife and my family. Yeah. And use that to my advantage.
Sure. Well, that was a title fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was actually for this bad boy right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
This one specifically. He was the Continental America's champion. He had just knocked out a guy by the name of Beck Monacusian. He has like one of those like interesting
names. Last names.
Yeah. But anyways, like he was a silver medalist, all this stuff, and Gabe set him up, timed him with a right hand, knocked him completely out, and it was a big fight for him. Then afterwards, he fought Jaime Munguia. He lost that fight. They fought at 160, but nevertheless, he fought him. And then, he was defending this belt against me at 168. So,
168.
Yeah, 168.
Holy
pounds.
Cow, man!
Yeah. So, with that being said, I was able to, take that fight. I believe that I could beat him. I believe that I was better than him, and I proved it that night.
Yeah. Can you walk us through a difficult match where, you know, it started out as in the other's favor and you overcame through the match to basically make it work in your favor?
I would say that the fight for that belt, which was, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. I see him. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's for that belt there. And we were fighting, and I would say that it was probably even. You might be able to give him a few of the rounds, and sure enough, I just stayed consistent with my game plan, putting my hands on him, trying to be a control freak, trying to control the action as far as the punches and stuff like that are concerned. And I was able to kind of, you know, withstand some of the attacks and things like that, and overpower and knock him out.
I mean, these are well, number one, I noticed the weight on them. Holy cow, man. Heavy belts.
Thank you.
But these are accomplishments. What do these mean to you?
You know, just some jewelry to collect on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's like these are just plateaus.
Yeah.
Just you know, stepping stones to get to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right. You try not to dwell on them. Obviously, they're great achievements. But if this is all I wanted, you know, I wouldn't be continuing on.
Yeah.
Right. So I definitely want more. I definitely want to be better in the sport. I want to be legendary.
Yeah.
Right. You only get into the sport to be legendary because you can lose your life. So why do it for anything else? So I say that to say that they're great achievements, and you know, obviously I beat some fairly decent fighters for them, but I want much more than that.
Yeah.
And I want, you know, to be able to do that, even though like I suck, right? Like, like people have told me my whole life, you're never gonna be as good as your dad. You're never, like, oh, he's horrible. Why would we watch him? All this stuff. I get that all the time. You'll never be good enough. You'll never be as good as your dad. You'll never be ever. And it's just like, yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's motivation, man.
You're right. No, what I mean, just like it's not necessarily like I don't like take like, oh, like, you know, but it's just like if that's how y'all feel, like that's not gonna ever stop me. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, like some guy the other day was like, man, like you suck, and I was like, thanks, appreciate it. Like, you're awesome, bro. You know, appreciate the input. Thank you for watching. You know what I mean? Like, obviously you wasted your time looking at me, so
yeah.
So good for you. You're the loser, not me.
Yeah.
Right? Because you obviously spent your time doing something that you felt like wasn't worthy of it, and it's not my waste; it was yours. But nevertheless, you know, I take those things and I want to get better. So I take all of those instances where I feel like, you know, I am not good enough, and I try to turn it around.
Yeah. Well, good for you staying humble, having humility. You know, it's in this type of competitive sport, I mean, the mentality you have to do, you have. How do you train your mentality to be tough, to stay focused, to overlook the comments that are being made?
Well, for one, I truly believe that anything anybody says is not for you, it's for them.
Okay.
Right. So whatever they're feeling, because you can watch something horrible and not feel like you have to say anything about it. You just be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to make a mean comment. So they make that mean comment to try to get a reaction out of you because of whatever that they're feeling. So I realized that long ago that most things that people say or input is not because of you, it's because of them.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, I avoid those things, but I avoid like believing that because it don't matter. Like whatever they say or whatever they do, it doesn't change anything about me or change anything about what I'm doing. So, and it shouldn't. So But I try to do things that are gonna keep me focused. I try to maintain that focus. I do like ice baths or hard things to try to help build that mind and that mindset. You gotta do the hard things that are gonna make your mind want to quit or want to stop, and you have to just train it to deal with it, endure it. Go through the pain and believe that suffering and that pain and all the things that you have to endure are a part of it, and it is beautiful.
Any type of pre-fight rituals you have?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer, so I pray, I meditate.
Day of fight day. What's your first thing you doing when you wake up in the morning?
Well, I pray. Yeah, I pray. I tell myself that I'm going to be my best.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate. Try to put myself in the right mindset, the right mind state, and I like to stay organized. As ironic as that sounds, because I feel like also if you are organized, there's less to think about, right? When there's less to think about, that's why discipline is important, right? Because when you're disciplined, there's less that your mind has to wonder or think about. And so when you have that freedom, you're then able to do much more freely. So with that being said, I do like to organize my bags, my like everything that needs to, when I go out there, outfit, ironed, it's all taken care of. All my stuff is by the door, things like that. So all I have to think about is the fight.
How do you mentally and physically recover from a tough fight?
Yeah, so I would say that obviously some good food, some time off, definitely no drinking, no drugs or alcohol, none of that stuff. I think a lot of times, obviously, when fighters win fights or whatever the case is, they want to go celebrate and stuff like that, and drink and maybe party a little bit. But I don't feel like that's appropriate for the lifestyle that we live.
Yeah,
I mean, like obviously, it's very close to home, but I don't think it's the right thing for fighters to do if you're a true fighter, somebody that really wants to make their stance on the sport. I think that is probably hard. So if you keep that out, ice baths, things like that, maybe stop some inflammation and continue on.
What misconceptions do you think most people have of boxing?
I think some misconceptions are that most fighters make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I would say that a lot of people think that like everybody's Floyd Mayweather, but I feel like most guys are struggling. Most guys have another job. Most guys are not making a lot of money, and they're struggling through this.
Got you.
Yeah.
How have you stayed motivated through setbacks? Because you win some and then you lose some. How through setbacks do you stay motivated?
Well, I just believe that I'm going to be great. I believe that I'm going to be a legendary fighter. I believe that I'm going to do big things in boxing. So that belief that I have what it takes to be a great fighter makes me never give up on myself. So when I've lost, just go, okay, well, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. It was my fault.
Yeah.
I think also that is a big part of it is that you have to take ownership of what happened and what happened to you. You know what I mean? Like it was your fault.
Accountability. Yeah,
absolutely. And so I think that's a big part of the sport and when you take losses.
How has boxing shaped your life inside and outside of the ring?
I would say boxing, it has shaped my life quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously growing up, seeing the strong mentality of a fighter and, what that could bring, how many lives it could change. Just so many great things that boxing has done for my life inside and out. I think that it's made me a stronger person, somebody that believes in himself, shows me that that life isn't fair.
Yeah.
That you have to change whatever it is that is going on in your life.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can change it but you. It's one-on-one. Even though you have your team, you ultimately have the ultimate decision and the ultimate decision maker in there.
Yeah.
And that's true in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you have influences. Yeah, you have a whole lot of things, but you're the ultimate decision maker and you can change everything for the good or for the bad. Mm-hmm. So I think boxing is a true testament to real life. Fighting in general is a true testament to real life and what real life is.
Gotcha. How do you feel about the state of boxing right now, and what changes would you like to see?
Well, I think that boxing is in a good space to change. Mm-hmm. I definitely feel like we're putting on great fights. We're having a lot of the greatest other great fighters. Mm-hmm. We just had Tyson Fury, Usyk, which was a great fight. Mm-hmm. We had Spence and Crawford not too long ago. We had Canelo fight, and he became super middleweight champion. So we have a lot of people, fighting each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the fighting itself is enough. I think in order for people to really stay on board, they have to know the fighters deeper. They also, I think, needs to be some type of unity as far as what's going on. So Eddie Hearn and I can't think of his name, Frank Warren, are putting on a 5-on-5.
That's right.
Which is great because they're independent, entities.
Yep.
Coming together.
It brings excitement. It brings the interest in.
Exactly. And so all the people that watch your fights now can see you fight other people. And so that's a cool thing. And that happens a lot, but it doesn't happen to that capacity where you see, like I bring in 5 of my guys and you bring your 5 of your guys, right? Usually it'll be like one guy on the thing. So that is, something that is, I think, cool. And I think there needs to be more of that. Maybe even, leagues or a league, a main league.
Yeah.
I think because with that, you can have some unity in the fighting and there's not like, oh, well, you're the WBC champ, but like, you're not like the overall champ or, like people get confused, for like the UFC, for instance, right? Obviously, there's other MMA in MMA leagues, but most people, when they watch MMA, they think of UFC. They actually thought UFC was the sport. Mm-hmm. Most people thought that UFC was the sport.
Yeah.
Right? So with that being said, it's like when they think of the entity of UFC, they think of the sport as a whole. And that's a cool thing that they have for that, because most of the people, there's only one champion. There's only one UFC champion. So there's not like the WBC champ or the WBO champ. Or not to say that I, disagree with all those things, because I understand they all have their place. And I understand the reasoning for all of those belts and things like that. But for the mass majority of people, they don't know what that means to the sport. Obviously, I've been in the sport for a very long time. I've been around it my whole life. So I have the inner understanding of what's going on. But for the mass majority of people that watch my sport, they don't know what's going on. They don't know what that means. They just see, oh, the red one, the black one. You know what I mean? They don't see like, what that means to the sport and what that means to boxing and boxers. And so when you can't really explain it to people and they can't really digest it, how are they going to become overall fans?
Yeah.
How are they going to become people that watch it consistently? With the NBA, everybody watches it. They know when the playoffs are. They know when the championship is. They know when all these things are happening, and there's no guesswork. There's nothing that I have to think about, or I know that during this time, this is when the playoffs is.
Yeah,
You're right. And that consistency and that familiarity with it, it makes it much easier to digest for the consumer. Yeah. And so that's what I feel like you need. And with boxing, we don't have that. It's all over the place all of the time, and you never really know. That's why even some of the greatest fighters, right, the Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez, they fight very consistently. I'm fighting May, I'm fighting September, right? I might fight one other time in between, maybe, but usually it's around the same time. With Canelo and with Mayweather, it was May, September, and maybe December.
I never noticed. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
holy cow.
very, you're right. And because for one, these are especially like May and September. Yeah. Right. These are springtime, summertime, right? Big times for a lot. There's a lot of like, when it comes to holidays, there's a lot of holidays around those times. And who watches, a majority of boxing? Hispanics. Yeah. Right? There's a lot of Hispanic.
We outside with it.
Yeah. There's a lot of Hispanic holidays around those times as well. So with that being said, you get them behind it. Yeah. Right? And so with that, you have to build consistency. Yeah. Right? So they understand what they're getting and why they're getting it and what they're doing for it. Right? There's Cinco de Mayo. There's Mexican Independence Day. Yeah. And that's why Canelo and Mayweather did it those times.
Well, your consistency has led you a long way in your career.
Right.
You are signed to Golden Boy.
I am.
Golden Boy.
Right.
How does that feel? What was it like when you got a call like, we want to sign you?
It was really cool. Like I felt very honored because they were the only ones that were actually willing to sign me. No other promotional company at the time, at least, was willing, at least to my knowledge.
For those that don't know what I'm talking about, it's Golden Boy Promotions, and I'll let you.
So Oscar De La Hoya is the one who started it, owns it. I believe he's the CEO. He took that on. He was known as the Golden Boy. So what other way to say Golden Boy Promotions?
Yeah, right? For sure.
And who doesn't want to be the golden boy of their sport? For sure. Right.
But how was that? Like, you getting that phone call and,
it was a very humbling experience. Like I was grateful that they wanted to sign me, that they felt that I had something to offer to the sport and the world. And I think that they have been, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for them. Yeah. That's the truth of the matter. So I'm very grateful for where they brought me.
What do you hope to leave as a legacy when, you come to that day and you put up the boxing gloves?
Yeah. I turned it all around. Yeah. Somebody that didn't have the start like everybody else did. They didn't have the career like everybody else did. That wasn't somebody that you would think that would have a legendary career, right? And I was able to turn it all around. Yeah. I was able to take a really bad situation and make it my own. And I would love to give that to the world, right? No matter where you grew up, no matter where it started, all those things, your mindset, your work ethic, all those things could change your life. Yeah. And so that's what I want to give to the world, to my sport, that being undefeated or being unblemished is bull, in my opinion. It's a fallacy.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in the next 5?
Next 5 years? Being a legendary fighter, somebody that they say, wow, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So by that time, I'll be undisputed world champion.
I believe it too.
Thank you.
I see you got it, man. I be seeing those reels. Like I said, I be when I go on your social platforms, dude, it's just, you can see passion. You can see the heart. You can see the how invested you are. And I think that's what truly makes anyone great at what they do. When you can see the passion just coming off of them, there's no words to really describe, you know. We always work ourselves to this question throughout the interview. And what advice would you give to our youth and aspiring boxers?
Okay, sure. So what I would give to the youth is to do difficult things that are towards your goals. Do the hard stuff. Embrace the difficult things. Embrace the stuff that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
And enjoy those moments because that's the time of your life. You're gonna look back at that moment and be like, man, that was the time of my life.
Yeah.
That was one of the greatest moments I feel like in my career is when I was homeless. Yeah. I was living on my boy's couch, my best friend, his couch in Santa Monica, California. Best time of my life.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it introduced me to me. Yeah. I'm gonna get out of this situation. I'm gonna do everything in my power. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this. I wasn't signed to a promoter. I didn't have no idea, but I knew that I was gonna get the fuck out this couch.
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna get out of here. I knew that I'm gonna get out of this situation, and so embrace that. That's the best time. And it was the time of my life.
Yeah.
The time of my life, and right now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get out of being where I'm at as far as I don't want to just be a minor champion anymore. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of it, but I'm gonna get out of it, and I'm gonna become champion. And then once that's the case, I'm gonna have to get out of being just a champion. I'm gonna be undisputed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure it out. You know, I don't know how, but I'm gonna figure it out, right? And so all of those things, you go through stages in your life and career and stuff like that suck and are hard. And you may not know how it's going to happen to get out of it, but you just keep on working, keep on doing the hard things towards whatever that goal is, and get out of it. And so the second part to that was
boxers,
aspiring boxers. Don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to not be perfect. Take chances. Take chances. Do the hard fights. Do the stuff that people don't think that you should do. Right? Fight everybody. Because it's the time of your life. Yeah, it is. It's the time of your life. You know what I mean? Like whatever age that you're going to be at, and whatever fight experience, even if you get beat up or you win, and like, right, if you beat somebody that nobody thought you could beat, you're amazing. If you lose, who cares? You learn. You got experience from that.
Yeah.
As long as it don't break you, it's gonna make you better, right? How many old champions that we've seen in the past that lost? Shoot, I just watched recently Roberto Duran versus Palomino. Palomino became world champion after that fight. You know what I mean? He defended his title like 7 times after that, right? He won world championship and defended 7 times after that fight. It's like, he lost to Duran. So what?
Yeah.
Right? It's a hard fight. So what?
But you got to continue.
You got to continue on, right? And he's a legend now. So it's like one of those things where it's like, just take the hard fights. Do the hard stuff, man.
Yeah.
Because it's going to just make you better.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe it, man, and I believe you, and I believe you have it in you that I'll see you on TV one day holding that belt, and I truly mean that. Yeah. I'm a fan of you inside and outside of the ring. I mean, getting to know you up to this point of getting here.
Yeah.
You know, it's honestly, I've felt like you're this warm, humble human being, and everything you spoke in this interview, that's the type of energy I've gotten from you the whole time we've been in, you know, just in communication.
Right.
I appreciate you adding on to this journey I'm on, because with every story, it's like, this is coming from real people and real voices. It just, for you to trust me with your story and trust me with what you know, it's genuine. I want to say thank you for coming on.
No worries.
You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, being in the status that you are with boxing, there's way people can contact you in case, you know, they want to, you know what I mean? Any type of sponsorship, any type of, you know, you doing something for commercial ads or anything. Is there any way people could contact you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram. I have at Shane Mosley Jr. Email me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can email me at Shane Mosley.
He responds, people.
Yeah, at Shane Mosley Jr. .business
Okay.
At Gmail.
Okay.
So that's my thing. And yeah, man, I respond to most of the people that hit me up, and especially like when I feel like they're good people and have good energy as well. So I'm willing to work with people. Like, right, like that's how things work.
That's how the world goes.
But that's how the world works, right? Like, it's all of an exchange of energy and exchange of things. And I truly believe that you know, the better I am as a person overall, the better I am in what I do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that just only makes me a better overall fighter.
For sure. Well, again, I appreciate you for coming on. And with that being said, Spearhead out.